actually just underneath your head today.
Okay.
Get comfy. See if you can get yourself as symmetrical as possible. So just close your eyes, and when you're lying here, if you feel like, oh, my legs feel like they're way over to the left, or one's rolling in and one's rolling out, can you get yourself as symmetrical as possible? Okay. All right, that feels pretty good. And then just let your legs relax. Like mine like to roll out. Let them do whatever they want to do. And place your hands onto your belly and take a breath into your hands. Fill your belly with air. And then exhale. And you can inhale and fill your belly with air. And exhale. 2 more times. I was going to mute you guys just in case other people watch the video. All right. 1 more breath in, filling your belly with air. Let it rise up towards the ceiling, up into your hands. And exhale, let it all out. And then slide your hands up to your rib cage with the fingers in the front, thumbs in the back. Inhale into your hands and fill your rib cage with air. And exhale, cinch in your waist. Draw your navel in towards your spine. Again, another deep breath in. And out. 2 more breaths. And last one. And then you're just going to nod. You're going to rest your hands wherever it's comfy. You're going to nod your head, yes. So bring your chin to your throat. Lift your chin up a little bit towards the ceiling. So it's not a big movement on our pillows. And then roll your head to the right and roll your head to the left. And see if you can, first notice if your head likes to roll one way more than the other. Mine likes to roll left. I'm not really sure why. That's what I've noticed over time. And then if you notice like, oh, it likes to roll this side more than that side, then see if you can even it out. Maybe go a little less on the side it wants to roll to and a little more on the side it doesn't want to roll to. And then see if you can find the spot right in the middle, which might be tricky. Because what I feel is normal is actually a little bit to the left. So see if you can find what you feel is center and look up and go, okay, am I really looking straight up at the ceiling? Or is my head a little bit to one side or to the other? So try and look straight up at the ceiling. And then take your nose and let's draw some circles with your nose. So on the pillow, it's not a huge circle, just a little circle. But trying to make it nice and round and symmetrical. And then reverse the circle. And make sure you're still breathing. And then come back to center. I'm going to bend both knees. Place your feet onto the floor. You're going to widen them. I didn't even grab a mat today. I'm just on the rug. I'm like, this works. So feet are wide. If you have a mat on the outside edges of your mat, and let your knees fall in towards each other. Make your triangle with your hands again and place your triangle onto your lower belly. And as you inhale, you're going to arch your waist just a little bit away from your mat. And as you exhale, draw your navel to your spine, bring your spine down towards the mat and imprint your spine. So it's pressing the waist into the floor. And again, inhale, float your waist. And exhale, draw your navel in and bring your waist down towards the floor again. A few more times. Two more. And last one. Come back into neutral. So get your triangle so it's parallel to the ceiling. Walk your feet in so their sit bones width apart, so about 3 inches apart. Knees are separated so the thigh bones are parallel. And keeping the thigh bones still, rock your pelvis a little bit to the right and to the left, just like we rolled our head to the right and to the left. So again, seeing if your pelvis rocks easier to one side than the other. And then see if you can even that out. Feel that the one hip point, coming up towards up and towards the ceiling, up into your hand, feels the same as when you switch to the other one. As one side of the pelvis weighs down into your mat, that it matches the other side. And then come back into neutral and see if you can feel your pelvis really level. And just like we drew circles with our nose, we're going to draw circles with our pelvis. So send your tailbone heavy down into the floor. So your waist is arching away from the floor. Bring the right side of your pelvis heavy into the floor. And then imprint your spine. Bring your waist into the floor. And then bring the left side of the pelvis heavy into the floor and then back to your tailbone. So you're making a circle, starting with the tailbone heavy. The right side of the pelvis goes heavy. The waist goes heavy. And then the left side of the pelvis. And again, try to keep the legs pretty still so you're not locking up in the hip joints. Adjust the pelvis and the lower spine are moving. And then reverse the circle. So start with a heavy tailbone. So if the tailbone's heavy, the waist is floating. Bring the left hip down to the floor so the right hip is off and light, or either lightly touching the floor. And then bring your waist and imprint your waist into the floor. And then the right side of the pelvis is heavy. The left side of the pelvis is light. Again, tailbone is is heavy. The left side of the pelvis is heavy. The waist is heavy. And the right side is heavy. A couple more circles, connecting those 4 dots. And make sure you're breathing. And then come back into neutral. And now you're not going to have to keep neutral for the next one. You're going to open. I'll do my left leg. You do your right leg. You're going to open your right leg as far as you can comfortably go. Feel free to let the pelvis roll for now. Roll to the right side. Slide the right foot down the mat. Rotate the leg so the kneecaps pointed up towards the ceiling, and then slide the knee back up. And repeat that. Knee is going to fall open. Slide your foot down. Oh, here we go. Maybe this is her. Yes, she's here. So keep doing that kind of circular motion of the right leg, massaging the hip joint. Good morning, Jane. I'm going to mute you right away. You're going to need 2 pillows. One more time, opening the right knee to the side, slide the foot down your mat, rotate the legs, the kneecaps pointing up, and then bend the knee. Now reverse the circle. So start by sliding the foot down your mat first. Let the leg roll out. Slide the foot back in, but the knee is pointed out to the right. And then bring the kneecap back up towards the ceiling. Repeat that circle. Slide the foot down, let the leg roll out to the side, slide the foot back up underneath you, and bring the kneecap to the ceiling a couple more times. Just gently massaging the hip joint and try to use as little effort as possible. So we're trying to move efficiently, and something simple like this, it doesn't require a lot of effort. Now switch sides. Open your left knee to the side as far as will comfortably go. Slide your foot down your mat. When your knee is straight, rotate the leg, roll it so the kneecap points up towards the ceiling, and then slide the foot back underneath you. And repeat that. Let the knee fall open. Slide the foot down the mat. So again, how little effort can you put into this one? It doesn't require much. We're just trying not to overly grip in the hips or tense up in our shoulders. None of that needs to happen. We're not even trying to keep neutral on this one. One more time. So you don't even have to try to hold your pelvis steady. And then reverse. Slide the foot down your mat, keeping the knee pointed towards the ceiling. Once the knee is straight, let the leg roll out to the side. Slide the foot back underneath you and bring the kneecap to the ceiling. And also make sure you're breathing. A couple more times. Focusing on relaxing, that you're not working too hard to get this leg to move. One more. Using just the right amount of energy just to get movement to happen. And keeping that idea of like easy movements, we're going to be in neutral this time, keeping the pelvis still. And take a breath in as you breathe out. Pick the right foot off the floor, bringing the leg into tabletop or relaxed tabletop, and lower the foot and switch. So see how, imagine that your leg is floating into tabletop rather than that you're trying to lift the leg into tabletop. So see if you can make the movement as easy as possible. But the leg is just floating, the foot is floating off the floor and then floating back down. And you're timing your breath, so breathing in and breathing out. I personally like to exhale as I pick the foot up. I feel like that exhale helps me lift the leg, but it's not necessary. You could do it on an inhale as well. So see what feels most natural, what feels easiest, most helpful. And check out your other body parts. As you're moving the legs, that everything else is relaxed. So some common spots to check are around your shoulder blades, the tops of your shoulders, your neck, your face. Is your face relaxed as you do this? Your jaw. And you're going to finish with both legs in tabletop. And you have options. You're going to be in neutral. So if this feels like a little too much effort for today, feel free to let the heels hang down towards your tush. Your thigh bones are still vertical. And the legs are just dangling from the knee joints. So what you're going to be doing, keeping neutral, you're just going to see if you can bend your hips a little bit more. So I'm not even trying to touch the floor with my feet. I'm just going from vertical legs to try to bring my thighs in towards me. What kind of hip flexion do I have? Again, I'm doing this on an exhale. And notice the difference between what this exercise and another very similar version would be to tuck the tail. So we're not tucking the tail. That's another version of this exercise. That's moving at the waist to bring the thighs towards you. What we're doing today is moving at the hip joint. So really trying to get some good hip flexion. So that's what the legs are going to be doing. Now we're going to create a little resistance. We're making, we're going to need a little more effort on this one. Place your hands onto your thighs just near your kneecaps. So just on your thighs. Yep, so not back, you're right on the tops of your thighs by your kneecaps. Your elbows are straight. So as you're trying to do this motion of moving the knees towards your chest, it's going to be harder because your hands are in the way. So hands are right on the fronts of your legs. So Jane, put your hands on the front of your thighs. You're actually going to push your thighs with your hands and your thighs will push back. So in every exhale, I'm pushing my thighs away from my body as I'm trying to pull my thighs towards my body by using my leg muscles. So push your hands into your thighs and your thighs into your hands on every exhale and then relax. If on the exhale, you need to put your feet down for a short break, go ahead, pick them back up. As you exhale, push your hands into your thighs into your hands, and then feel free to relax the feet back down if you need to, or just relax with the legs and relax tabletop. Pick the feet up, push your thighs into your hands into your thighs, and then relax, either with the feet on the floor or the feet just hanging barely off the floor. Again, exhale, press the thighs and the hands together, and then relax 2 more times. So it's some leg work and some abdominal work and a little bit of shoulder work. 1 more. And then lower your feet back down. Stretch your left leg along the floor. Feel free to wiggle it for a moment. That was a little bit of hip flexor work. Take your right kneecap into your hands. And without the leg doing anything, the leg is completely relaxed. Use your arms to circle your right knee in a circle. So my hands are doing the movement. My leg is relaxed. And then reverse. And then place your hands around your right thigh. You're going to clasp your fingers together. This time, get the other leg, your left leg, flex your foot, gently press the left leg into the floor. If the left leg staying straight doesn't feel good for this exercise, you can bend your knee and put the bottom of your foot on the floor. So those are two options, either a straight left leg or a bent left leg. And straighten your right knee, reaching your right foot up towards the ceiling. Oh, let me change my device so you can see. My foot is flexed, which you could not see from that angle. My foot is flexed. And I'm going to push my leg down into my hands for 5 seconds. So push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax the leg. Let the hands gently pull the leg towards the body for 5 seconds. And then repeat that push down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then relax the leg. Gently pull the leg towards you for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more times. And as you're doing this, see if you can keep your tailbone heavy, especially as the leg relaxes and you pull the hands. We will use the hands to pull the leg towards you. Watch that the tail's not tucking under. You're also, again, trying to get a little more hip flexion, a little hamstring stretch. One more time. Push down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then relax. Let the hands pull the leg towards you for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the legs back to a nice comfy position. Feel free to bend the knee a little bit and point your toes. Place your hands down by your sides. The left leg can stay bent or it can stay straight. Either is fine. You're going to cross your right leg a little bit to the left. Circle it down towards the floor, over to the right, and back up where you started. So you have pointed toes, but the knee can be slightly bent. If that feels better on your hips, that feels better on your back, on your hamstrings, feel free to have a slightly bent knee. One more small leg circle. So really it's more of an oval shape. Reverse the circle. Take the leg over to the right. Circle it down towards the floor, a little over to the left and back up where you started. So every time you come back up to the top, you're going to pause and see if you can really feel that the thigh bone is sinking into the socket. That you don't have to work very hard to keep the leg up in the air. That's why it's okay to let the knee bend a little bit so there's not so much tension on the back of the leg. And then using your breath. So exhaling to do the big circle. Inhale at the top. And then flex your foot. Lower the right leg down towards the mat. Point your toes and lift it back up. I like to exhale and lower because I feel like that helps me keep my neutral, and then inhale and lift, but you might like the opposite. You might like inhaling to lower and then having an exhale to help lift the leg back up. Either is fine. One more. Lower the leg all the way down. Let it wiggle for a minute and hug your left knee into your chest. I'll do my right knee. Hands are on your kneecap, and then let the hands stir the knee in a circle. The leg is relaxed for this one. And so is your face, so is your neck and shoulders. And then reverse the circle. And then place your hands around your left thigh. You're going to have the fingers clasped. You can keep the right leg straight. You can bend the knee if that feels better for your legs and your hips. I'm going to straighten the left leg up towards the ceiling. So my foot, it's hard to tell in the sunlight. My foot is flexed. So my foot is flexed. My knee is straight. I'm going to push my left leg into my hands for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax your left leg. And use your hands to gently pull the leg towards you for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push down again for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Now watch as you're relaxing, your tailbone stays heavy. We're not tucking the tail under for this one. And again, push down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. And then bring the leg into a comfy vertical position. This opposite leg could be bent or straight. Same thing with the top leg. Be bent or straight. We're going to have the toes pointed. You're going to take the left leg, hands are down by your sides, cross your left leg a little bit to the right, circle it towards the mat, over to the left and back at where you started. So using your exhale to help you on the big circling action. And pausing at the top, allowing the femur head to just drop in the socket, so feel free to have a relaxed knee. Then the rest of the body is holding still. So use the navel drawing into the spine to help you keep that stability. Take the leg over to the left, circle down around to the right and back up where you started. You can even have your hands on your belly just to check in on it and make sure that as you're exhaling, the navel's drawing down towards your spine rather than popping up towards your hands. That's going to make sure that your deepest abdominal layer is engaged as you're exhaling. Last one. Lower the left leg down, stretch out both legs and wiggle them for a minute. Take both pillows out from underneath your head. Set them aside. Lay your head on the floor, bend both knees so your feet are in line with your sit bones, so 3 inches apart. Take one of your pillows and stick it between your knees. We're going to do some Kegels and inner thigh work today. So Kegels are good for men and for women, although they're commonly used more by women just because of, babies. They become a little more important for women because of that reason. So what you're going to do is take a breath in, and as you breathe out, do a Kegel. So imagine you have to pee and there's no bathroom in sight. What are you going to do to hold it in? And then once you feel that sensation of like holding it in, then give your pillow a little squeeze and then relax everything. And it's just as important to relax your Kegels as it is to tighten them. They're a muscle group, just like, we have all over our bodies. You wouldn't want to do bicep curls and get your arms locked in a bicep curl. That's not going to be very useful. The pelvic floor, same thing, is not very useful if it can't tighten and relax. So again, you're going to imagine you have to pee. There's no bathroom in sight. Hold it in, and give the pillow a little squeeze. And then make sure to relax your inner thighs, relax your pelvic floor. And do that again. Do a Kegel. Give the pillow a squeeze. And then relax. Those Kegels feel like a little narrowing and kind of lifting in the direction of your head. That's sort of what that sensation is. So try that again. Do a Kegel. Give the pillow a squeeze. And there's various versions of Kegels. So you could start with just a little gentle Kegel, like you just barely feel it tightening. Or you could go for a full, oh my gosh, I really have to pee and I'm stuck in a subway train underground. And they said, oh, there's train traffic ahead, one of the usual responses because they don't really know what's going on. And you're going to have to hold it for a while. So you could do that too. And then relax. So a nice light Kegel, you could go for a deeper Kegel, or each Kegel you start to do could get more intense and more intense as you do it. But remember, after each one, completely relax. So it's going to take a little more. If you're doing a deeper Kegel, you're going to have to take a moment and relax a little bit longer. One more time, do a Kegel, give your pillow a little squeeze, and keep that squeeze, keep holding it in. You're underground in the subway, there's train traffic ahead. Hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax your pelvic floor. So relax your Kegel muscles, relax your inner thighs. This time we're combining that with a bridge. So start with your Kegels. Imagine you have to pee. There's no bathroom nearby. Give your pillow a squeeze. Keep holding it in. This time lift your pelvis off the floor. And you're just going to go as high as you can that you can still feel your Kegel muscles. You still feel like you're holding it in. If you get too high and go, I don't really feel my Kegels, lower your bridge a little bit. And stay there and hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower back down. So it's easier to feel the Kegels with the hips bent because the muscles the Kegels attached to are wider apart, so it creates more tension. So therefore you have more sensation. When you lift the hips and straighten the hips, those bones get closer to each other, so it creates less resistance. It's kind of like doing bicep curls without weights. I could feel them sort of, but if I had a weight in my hand, I'd really feel those biceps. Same concept. So one more time, you're gonna do your Kegel first. So imagine you have to go to the bathroom, no bathroom in sight, give your pillow a squeeze, bridge your hips up. Stop at the point that you feel like, I cannot feel my Kegels, and then lower down a little bit. Hold it in. You're underground in that subway for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower your pelvis back down. Relax your pelvic floor, relax your inner thighs. Take your pillows, place them underneath your pelvis. So one pillow or two pillows is fine. Stack them up, stick your pelvis right in the middle of your pillows. Obviously, it depends a little bit on your pillows and how mine are square, yours can be rectangular. If they're really firm, you may only need one pillow. If they're softer, you may need 2 or 3. And you're going to be in neutral on your pillows. So your sit bones are pointed forward. So watch that your tail isn't tucking under. Your pelvis is resting right on top of those pillows. So is your waist a little bit because we're on pillows rather than a yoga block or a foam roller. There's other things we could stick under our pelvis, but today it's pillows. You're gonna bring both legs into tabletop or relaxed tabletop. Let's point our toes. So here or here is fine. Your navel's drawing in towards your spine. Your sit bones, like my fingers, are pointed straight forward. So that watch that they're not aiming up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, lower and tap your right toes, either onto the floor, close to the floor, and come back up and switch. And if you need to, you can always have one foot on the floor and just do a few on one side and then pick the other foot up and switch. So if having both legs up in the air just doesn't feel good on your legs, doesn't feel good on your back, you could always have one foot resting on the floor, do a few taps just with one leg, and then pick the leg up, switch sides, and do a few on the other side. That's an option too. Or alternating, finishing with both legs in tabletop or relaxed tabletop. 2 more sets of whichever version you're doing. Keep your navel drawing in, sit bones pointed forward. And then bring both legs together with both legs in tabletop. And you're going to stretch your legs out to 45 degrees. You're going to straighten your knees and stretch your legs out for a moment and then bend your knees. You have another option. You could let the legs relax and kind of give your legs a break by holding onto your knees. And then stretch the legs out as you exhale, and then hug your knees in for a short break if you need that little break in between. Or if you don't want the break, you want to be a little more challenging, you can have the legs in tabletop, extend the legs out to 45 degrees, and then bend back into tabletop. One more. And then now take your hands, place them onto your kneecaps. One hand on each kneecap. And stir your knees in a circle. And then reverse the circle. And now for a stretch just for the left leg, hug your right knee into your chest. Put your left foot onto the floor. Slide your left heel down the mat as far as you can get it to go and have it pressing down to the mat. So one knee's tucked into your chest. We're going to stretch out the left hip. So the front of the left hip, and just stay here and breathe. And then slide the left foot back up. Place your hands around your left knee. Lower your right foot down onto your mat. Slide the right heel down the mat until you feel a nice stretch. Shouldn't be too excruciating. So if it's okay if the knee's still a little bit bent. And stay here and breathe. So stretching the heel out away from you as it presses down into the floor. And slide the foot back underneath you. Bend both knees, have both feet back onto the floor. Feet or sit bones width apart. Bridge your hips up off of your pillows. You're going to lower your hips so they barely touch your pillows. And then pick them back up. Or it's okay if there's always contact with your pillows. Just depends on your pillows and the height of your bridge. So you're just letting the pelvis come down into the pillows, not fully relaxed, but they come right back up. Check while you're here doing these little pelvic lifts that your toes are spread wide. You really feel both feet into the floor. You feel your thigh bones parallel to each other and both kneecaps pointed forward. And you're lifting from just underneath your butt, called your gluteal fold. And that's picking you up and lowering you back down a couple more times. And then lower your pelvis back onto the pillow. And one more time, lift your hips up, slide the pillows out away from you, and lower back down. You're gonna take your pillows, keep them in front of you. We lost Elena. I wonder what happened. Let me see if she messaged me. I don't know what happened. Okay. You're gonna have the pillow, maybe she had to run off to work. You're gonna have the pillows in front of you. Your top leg is gonna be resting on the pillows. So from your inner shin is gonna rest on the pillows. Get yourself comfy. Bottom leg is straight, top hand is on your hip. And you're gonna float your bottom waist away from the floor. So I'm stacking one hip on top of another. And my bottom foot is flexed. And I'm in a long straight line from my head down to my foot. You're gonna lift your leg up and lower your leg down. And lift it up and lower it down. Four more. Here she is. Keep going. We lost her. Good. So I'll come back down, Jane, for a moment. Come back down. Have your pillows in front of you. Have your pillows in front of you. There you go. You're just letting your top leg rest in front of you on the pillows. Like you're resting your legs on a body pillow. A couple more times. You're gonna lift the leg and lower. And then keep the leg lifting. You're gonna swing it a little bit to the front and back. There she is. Four more, swinging front and back. Last one. And you're gonna lower your leg back down. Hi, Elena, we lost you.
I know. I was trying to log in again. Zoom was not letting me in.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'll the video. You'll get to do it with your mother later. So no worries. We're online on our sides. And you're now going to have one pillow either underneath your head or off to the side. And stick the other pillow in between your knees. And you can bring your knees more forward if that feels better. You can swing your feet back behind you a little bit. So get into a comfy hip flexion. One hip is stacked on top of the other. Your feet are going to stay touching. You're going to lift just your top knee off your bottom knee. And kind of like our idea at the very beginning of class of keeping the hip keeping the legs relaxed, only working as hard as you need to make the movement happen. So to see if you can keep the front of the hip pretty relaxed, because we're trying to use back here to lift the knee. So see if I can lift my knee, but not grip too much in the front of my hip. So I'm trying to keep my hip flexors relaxed. Just barely pick my knee up off the pillow, let it rest back on the pillow and try it again. Also watching you don't have tension in your shoulders or your jaw or in between your eyebrows. And it's the navel drawing in to give some support. And then these guys back here are going to pick the knee up off the pillow. A couple more times. And then you're going to sit yourself up, come to lying on your other side. So first, the pillow's in front of you. Your bottom leg is out straight. Your top leg is bent and resting on the pillow. And you can have one pillow, two pillows, three pillows, whatever you want. And so I have a long line from my head down to my foot. My foot is flexed down here. My top hip is stacked on top of my bottom hip. So I'm floating my bottom waist away from the floor. Top waist is long. And just start by lifting and lowering. I'm trying to keep my hip still and really use the inner thigh of the bottom leg to do the lifting. So way up high in that inner thigh. A couple more. And then keep the leg lifting and swing the leg a little to the front and a little to the back. Keeping the leg hovering away from the floor. 4 more. And from my head to my tail is holding still. It's really just that leg, like a door on a hinge. It's just the door that's moving. Last one. And then lower your leg back down. Remove one of the pillows. It can go underneath your head. You could just set it aside and stick the other pillow in between your knees. Feet will stay touching. You can kind of, like I said before, you can decide how much hip flexion feels good for you. And I prefer, especially for this one, to keep my hip flexors out of the picture, to have my feet a little bit further back behind me. So stack your hips again. So you can see the bottom edge of my shirt is vertical. My waist is floating a little bit on the bottom. And I'm gonna try to keep my feet touching and see if I can lift my knee up away from the pillow just a little bit without the front of my hip right here, that hip crease gripping. So I'm gonna actually, where that hip bends, I'm feeling it and trying to keep it soft. And it takes some practice. I could not, the very first time I did clamshell like this, where I was trying to keep the hip flexors from activating, I could not do it. So it's okay if you go, I can go 1/4 of an inch. That might be it. That's totally fine. Even if your knee can't come off the pillow. We're trying to get these guys to really do all the work. The hip flexors, their job is to do this. We're not doing that type of movement right now, so we really don't need them. They don't need to help out, but they like to be helpful. We're trying to tell them, you can go on vacation. You don't have to work right now. Go take a nap. Go get a cup of coffee. You don't need to do anything. We're using these guys back here. A couple more. And then lower back down. Come on, just keep rolling over. You're gonna come onto your stomach. You don't need any pillows right now. Have your arms in cactus pose. Legs can be whatever's comfy. Forehead's down on the mat. Arms are bent out to the sides. So your thumbs are really kind of in line with your eyes. They could even be slightly forward if that feels better on your shoulders. Navel's drawing in, shoulders are away from your ears. Float your forehead, lengthen your spine, lift your chin and chest. Bottom ribs stay on the mat as you come into mini swan. And then exhale, lower back down. Feel that the spine is lengthening first before you come into swan. So before I lift my chin, I'm trying to pull my head away from my tail. And then I lift my chin, and then I really focus on the chest coming forward. I'm not really doing too much with my chin. I'm not lifting my chin too much. And then lower back down. One more time. Last one. We're going to stay in mini swan. You're going to float the arms. Open your arms out to a T. Rotate them so your thumbs are aimed up towards the ceiling. Really reach the fingertips to the right and to the left in little circles for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Reverse the circle for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We're not done. Swim your arms back by your sides. Now your thumbs are pointed down and your pinky fingers are pointed up. And we're going to reach those pinky fingers towards the ceiling for 10, 9. How high can they go? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Bend your elbows, lower your arms, lower back to your forehead. You can place your hands underneath your forehead. Okay, take a couple breaths. And then come on to hands and knees. One more thing we're going to do, come to standing. Last thing, 1 pillow or 2 pillows or no pillows. 2 pillows is the hardest. Come on to 2 feet on your pillows. You're first just going to rock forward and backwards on your pillows. You don't have to go far. You can also put yourself close to a wall or a chair if you feel like you want to have, a security blanket. But just know if you get too wobbly, you can always step your foot off the pillow. You can always get rid of the pillows altogether. So we're just trying to make a little uneven, kind of squishy surface. We spend a lot of time throughout our day on hard, flat surfaces, and it's really good for our bodies to get off of those hard, flat surfaces. So if you don't have the option of going for a hike, especially like here, I think the high today is 29 degrees. Going for a long hike is probably not happening today. So you could just put pillows out all over your floor and just walk all over the pillows. And it makes your body have to make little adjustments like you might have to do if you're going for a hike. Now, come back to where your foot's flat. Now shift your weight onto one foot. You can either keep the other foot barely touching the pillow to help you balance, or you could pick the foot all the way off the pillow. You could stay here and balance, or for fun, you could also do the rocking forward and backwards, whoa, on one foot. If you want, this is optional. This is a little extra challenge. Whoa, it's a little wobbly. So you're gonna feel those ankles, woo, being a little wobbly and shaky, but above the ankles, the rest of the body is pretty still. Switch feet. I had a ballet teacher once say it was kind of like a duck or a swan on the water that under the water, woo, their little legs are going like this, but above the water, it's nice and quiet. So when we're doing balance work, it's okay if the ankles feel kind of shaky. They're going to have to make all those little tiny adjustments so you don't fall over. We're going to try not to let that translate to the upper body and have the whole upper body flopping around as well. Just that ankle. Come back to 2 feet. And float both arms up by your ears. And then float both arms down by your sides. I'm going to do the arms just so that you can see me. Both arms are going to float up. And back down one more time. And you were all done.